Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to the channel. We've had some Mercury retrograde issues today, clearly. Retrograde hates us today, and thank you, Mercury. Shout out to you for that. It's like literally everything related to the stream as far as technology goes is just like not happening. You know what I mean? In fact, right now I know there's a bunch of people in because I can see all the different streams, and then it tells me right now I only have 2 people in, so I'm just like, okay, I know that's a lie. So anyways, Mercury, you're the shiz. I have Shanae in with me today, which is cool. I don't know, today's just going to be kind of a chill day, talk about some weird stuff that's going on in the media right now, paranormal and alien related. But first, just, for the record, Target at the moment has sort of like a geode thing going on with like school supplies. So I bought some I love notebooks. I'm like obsessed with the Paper Source and like all those like papery stores, and I'm obsessed with agendas. Like the girls think I'm crazy because I'm always buying agendas. I'm ridiculous. Also, Target had some really cool. Actually, no, I think I got these at Walmart. Lisa Frank collar. Shout out to my youth, okay? They have these notebooks in for Lisa Frank. And Target had a pencil bag that was Lisa Frank. Thank God I get to revisit my 10-year-old self. Because we all like to do that. Anyways, let's bring Chanel in, okay? Let's just get this chat going. Chanel, what is up?
Not much. It's hot.
I know. You guys are on like a heat advisory over on the East Coast, right?
Yes.
It's almost like cooler, I think, in the desert than it is on the East Coast.
Yeah.
Which is a little concerning. I'm just a little concerned about that. So, anyways, yeah, it's so weird for Vegas this year. We've had normally, okay, so summers in Vegas are the worst, right? So for some reason people have a misconception that Vegas is like 100 degrees every single day year round, and it's not. Vegas only gets really hot in the summer, and Vegas gets hot basically June, July, and August. You don't want to come to Vegas, right? Because you're gonna hit some excessive heat days. But this year the heat didn't even start till like a week ago, which is weird. So, which was cool because I'm not complaining about it. So, are you surviving? Is it like the humid kind of heat too because you're on the East Coast?
Where it feels like you're swimming just in a pool of hotness.
That's how Florida was. Like my dad lived in Florida, and I'd go visit him, and I remember going down there for a few summers, and it was like breathing in like the water. And I was just like, this is not fun. Like, this isn't cute to me. I'm done. I have asthma, and fluid in my lungs is a bad thing, So, let's not die. So, anyways, there's all kinds of weird stuff going on in the media.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I feel like you're a good person to bring on in this chat because I feel like Kat is very level-headed. And if you talk about, she's into conspiracy theories, but she shuts it down really fast. She's just like, people are stupid. And that's just it. And I feel like you and I kind of get into the conspiracy theories a little bit more. Now, some are a little extreme. Okay, we don't want to get into those. But what's your opinion on this whole storming Area 51 thing?
Honestly, I didn't even understand like what exactly until all of the memes kind of started coming out, and I saw that there was an actual group of people on Facebook that were serious about storming Area 51. But personally, I wouldn't.
Right.
I'm not trying to die, or be abducted.
Amen.
I'm not about the abduction life. Like, I'd like to stay on Earth. Oh, just me though.
When I first heard this, I didn't believe it either. I just thought it was one of those viral social media things that like people were joking about, and that was like a fly-by-night thing, and it would come and go like as fast as it
Yeah.
was here. So when I first... Okay, so Blake is obviously my co-owner, and he follows a ton of like veteran pages, okay? And the veteran pages, it depends on the pages that he follows, but some are like really into conspiracies, and then others obviously shut it completely down because it's a military agenda, right? So he started telling me, he's like, I follow these veteran pages, and he's like, there's people that are like dead set, like dead serious, they're going to Area 51, like they're going to storm it. And some of the pages he follows, like the veterans of course want to go, like be a part of like a revolution, and then the other part of the veterans are like, dude, it's a military base, like what are you thinking? Like, don't do it, you know. So
Yeah.
that was when I realized, crap, this is like legit.
Yeah, I mean, people are serious, and I think that that's like, I guess if you look at it another way, it's a good thing, because now you know, like, people collectively can get in the mind space of like on the same wavelength of
Sure.
wanting to do something, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it's super dangerous because, like you said, it's a military base.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, because I saw that there was like, what, like millions of people, or just like...
Yeah, it's like, well, it's in the like 1.5 millions, but that was as of like a week ago. So, I mean, I'm assuming it went up from there. Now, the question is, out of the 1.5 million people, who's actually going to go, right? Well, you also have to take into consideration how many news teams do you think is actually going to show up at Area 51? I mean, like, so there's even more people than, like, you know what I mean? Are people going to go to just watch it versus, like, actually be a part of, like, the movement or whatever? I will say this, which is one of the reasons I wanted to talk about this today. I don't mean to laugh. Like, if anybody's out there going, I just hope that you have your will prepared, and I hope that your animals are staying with your family because you may not be coming home. And I just hope you give somebody a spare key. Because it's just, you know, if it is a secret base for whatever reason, even if they're just hiding artillery or like, you know, new artillery or whatever equipment, what makes people think that our own military wouldn't defend it? I mean, that's what they're supposed to do, you know? That's kind of what a military base is. It's like Fort Knox, and they're supposed to defend it. When I realized... I went into shock a few days ago because obviously in Vegas I'm a local, right? I hear locals talking. All my friends are talking about it. The news stations too are obviously, like, the local news is going to know a little bit more. And I found out, because it's such a tourist state because of Las Vegas, every single hotel, motel, Airbnb within 60 miles of Area 51 is completely sold out for the time that they're going to go raid. I think it's September. I don't even know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is serious, guys. Like, this is like no joke. I think it's really completely unsafe in my own opinion, and that's because, you know, Blake was in the military, and I've had, you know, our other military friends, I've had them on the channel discussing like Air Force stuff before, and our Air Force friends have spoke about... Sorry, my dog's squeaking a toy. It's my puppy. Theo, let me know when you're done. It's fine. Everything's fine.
Oh.
He's huge now, by the way. I'll have to show him later. But like, you know, when we've had our friends on talking about the Air Force stuff, and like, the dog is gonna squeak. Like, literally. Every time I go to talk, he squeaks the toy. The military, they've always said, like, you know, I think they're hiding stuff. I've talked about my friend that I thought disappeared with Men in Black, which I am I really, really believe that the Men in Black exist. I also believe aliens exist. I think that's crazy to think that we live in this huge Milky Way galaxy plus everything else around it, and we're the only ones that exist. aliens aside, though, it's a freaking military base. Like, I don't understand the thought process going into this and how they, and the quote that they're literally using, like the slogan that they're using for this to like promote it is, quote, "They can't stop us all." What?
I mean, literally, yeah, though.
But actually they can. It's called
Like,
bombs and like grenades and snipers. It's a military base. Like, what do you think that they do there other than Area 51? Like, you think that it's not heavily guarded. Like, I mean, I haven't been right up to the gate. I have been near it. Sorry, my dog is like going crazy right now. I don't know what's going on. But there's snipers all up and down the desert. So, like, people think that as you approach the gate, like maybe the first mile or so is where you're like finally spotted, and that's when they like alert other people. No, they've been watching you the whole way there. They've been watching you the whole way there, and night vision too, thermal vision. Like, people don't think that it's not just like a gate that you have to cross. Like, it's not like that. I mean, perfect example is my doctor. I've spoke about my doctor. I've never released his name because I don't want him ever getting in trouble with things he's told me. But I have a really, really cool doctor here in Vegas, and I love him to death. He's been my doctor since I moved to Vegas, and he swears up and down that he's actually had patients that are not human from Area 51. And he's told me that in order to see these patients, and Blake knows this too from, like, for all these military friends he has in Vegas, in order to work at Area 51 as a military member, you don't just go drive there every day. Or like, I mean, they might have housing on base, but the people we know that have or do work at Area 51, you have to go to the airport and they literally fly you in and then fly you out for the day. And my doctor has said the same thing about patients that he's seen, is they will literally fly them in to like the main airport here and then fly them back out. So it's such a secretive base, and what's the obsession all of a sudden, I guess, is my question.
Yeah, that's actually, I feel, where a conspiracy kind of thing could come in, because out of nowhere, I've seen a lot of people, though, speculating that, like, people in the government has had contact with aliens, which I'm sure they do run into some weird things, in the military, like in the Navy, if you're out on sea, or air.
We've all seen those things. Oh yeah, for sure. Blake has for sure too. Like, there's things he's not even, still to this day, he hasn't told me from things that he's experienced being in the Army, and he deployed twice, and there's just things he won't tell me, and I think it's scare tactics too that the military tells them, if anyone finds out about this, we can hold you accountable. Like, they make people disappear. That's their job.
Right.
And someone said Area 51 today, Wall Street, Washington, some other political target. I'm going to be honest, because I've been following this from the very beginning. I don't think this is politically driven. Because, to be honest, if this was politically driven, this 1.5 million people would be down at the border right now. They wouldn't be going to Area 51. That's my opinion on it. This was driven by conspiracy theorists. And
Right.
This was driven by people who are obsessed with aliens and paranormal. That's my opinion. Because if you want to talk political, which I'm not going to get into, but I feel like there's some big major issues happening in our world right now, and it shouldn't be Area 51 if you want to talk politics. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like if these people really wanted to do some change in the world, it wouldn't be worried about aliens, because I don't think those aliens are going to be saving us anytime soon, but that's just my opinion. What do you think about that? I don't think it's politically driven.
I think, no, I don't think it's politically driven. I think it's, like you said, there's people who are believers in extraterrestrials and conspiracy theories. And I think, well, number one, I know, because I've seen people talk about it on, like different threads and things, that they are firm believers, like the community of extraterrestrial believers, think that there is going to at some point be some sort of like alien contact on Earth. And if that's the case, all I'm going to say is don't get on the ships.
Or if you do, it's because you're getting beamed up and you ain't got no choice, boo-boo, and you shouldn't have been researching it. That's all I have to say about that.
Don't give consent to be abducted.
Right.
Okay.
No, and that's,
You
yeah,
know.
I mean, I don't know. It's just insane to me. It's just crazy. I don't get my information from the news. I get my information from all of the groups that I belong to regarding paranormal. And clearly, I don't belong to these groups for alien information. I belong to them because of ghost sightings and like firsthand, experiences. So that's where I first start, and I have for years, and that's where I first started these conversations coming up. And what who I truly think kind of started this was. There's a lot of angry people out there who have claimed to have gotten footage of like alien ships or whatever you want to call it. And those people have had some of their videos like removed from YouTube, from online social media. They feel like they're being silenced by, I don't know if it's social media or just society in general, and they're tired of being silenced. There's people out there. I actually went down a really horrible rabbit hole, and which is where Chanel and I get in trouble. Okay, that's where I'm actually really glad that Kat's not here, because Kat's like, I don't really go down rabbit holes. And Chanel and I like go, and then we're like lost, okay? So I went down a rabbit hole the other day while I was researching this. Like, how did it stem from? Where did it stem from? How did it stem? And there's a huge group of people that believe that they are or have been abducted. They believe that they have, and I can't say. First of all, I've never been abducted. Better ain't never gonna happen to me. Okay, I will go out with a fight. Let me just say. Okay, I'm not playing. Okay, I know there's good and bad aliens, like good and bad humans, and I'm not playing. I don't even want to experience that. But there's people that are out there that swear they have been abducted. They swear that they have had alien encounters. I'm not just talking seeing a ship and like recording it. Like, they think they've been abducted. And what has happened is they've clustered together as like a community, okay? And these communities of people, the reason they're like stuck together is because they feel like nobody has ever believed them. Like, they feel like people don't believe them, and so the only people that are going to believe them are people that have had the same experiences, okay? And the bigger rabbit hole is, okay, so there's like layers, right? I feel like it's like an onion. There's like, you get like the basic outer shell, which is people that believe, and then you get people that have seen ships, then you get people that are like believe in Men in Black, and then you get to like people that are abducted, right? So it just keeps getting like deeper. So the deeper in the rabbit hole is the people that claim they've had multiple abductions. Kat just said, I've been down rabbit holes with crochet tutorials. I'm sorry. It's just, that's how Kat, it's so true. That's how Kat is. She'll call me. She'll be like, I've been sitting on the couch for 4 hours watching crocheting tutorials. I'm sorry. God, it's so true. That's why I'm laughing. Oh, okay, get a grip, Krystal. Okay. The people that have claimed to have been abducted over and over have claimed to have been injected or put like a microchip in them, I guess. I don't really know how to explain, like an implant type of thing, okay? And I mean, I read forums, and like the forums are just, they go on and on, first of all, okay? I don't know where I stand with any of this, because clearly I've never been abducted. I mean, you can't discredit them unless you actually see it or experience it for yourself, right? That's very much the science side of it, which is, it does, to me personally, it does not, or it does exist. I can't say indefinitely, because I've never experienced it, thank God, once again. Please don't come get me, please. I have way too much to do. My to-do list is so long, I can't take a few days off. But these people claim that they've had to find specific doctors, one in particular that was in California that died not too long ago, I think within a few years ago, and these people from all over the world are literally flying to these particular doctors because they're the only ones that will remove these like chips or like implants. And these people literally, they have insurance and they'll go get like CAT scans or CT scans, MRIs, and there's some weird thing that's like been embedded in their body, and the longer you leave it, the further. And once again, this is the rabbit hole, okay? And a lot of times doctors, yeah, they'll see it on like a scan, but they won't remove it because they don't know what it is. So it's really difficult to find someone to take it out. My point of this kind of blurb that I'm doing is I think that you have a massive amount of people worldwide that claim to have either just seen aliens, think the government's hiding stuff from us with aliens, or you have this other group of people who think they've been abducted over and over again and that they've been implanted and that no one will help them and they're like alone. And I mean, that creates a lot of, once again, I always talk about with paranormal energy output, right? How much energy does it take to be upset? So like, you know, whether you believe in this or not, put yourself in these people's shoes. Would you be upset if you felt like you were just screaming at everybody saying, believe me, this is what's going on, I've been abducted, I have a microchip, whatever, and nobody's listening to you? Then you get a collaborative group of people in the thousands, now we're at 1.5 million, who are angry. What's going to happen now? It's almost like a civil war, I feel like, that's about to break out over aliens, which we still don't even know what's in there. Wouldn't that just be the worst thing if, like, they finally break through the gate, right? There's only like 100,000 of them left. They finally got through. They find no aliens. It's just like a bunch of marijuana plants or something stupid. They're just like, it's like a big garden. Like the government's been hiding, you know? But I mean, it's like you don't really know what's in there or what's not in there. And, you know, I feel like the public or this group of people, they feel like they have the right to know. And it's like... then that can get a little political because you're like, democracy, what's our right and what isn't our right? Which I don't want to talk politics. I want to talk about aliens. I mean, what's your blurb on people that have been abducted? I mean, you literally have celebrities, guys, that have also claimed to have been abducted. And, like, celebrities in this group of people that have claimed they've had these, like, implants. So, like, if you're talking about needing credibility, it's not just some, like, crazy podunk person living in the middle of nowhere that claims that they've been abducted. Now, going into that research, too, before I get Chanel's opinion, because I feel like her brain is clicking. Like, I can see it. She's dying to talk right now, okay? The other thing is, when I was doing this research going down this, this rabbit hole, is I realized these people would note locations of where they were abducted or where they're having repetitive abductions, okay, whatever. Someone out there, there's people out there that have taken data collection from all these people of like abductions or like repetitive cycles of abductions, and they've put it on maps. And just being an investigator that I am, one piece I did find interesting was the maps they laid out. They showed that the majority of people that are being abducted are the crosses of ley lines. The ley lines, which is also considered a phenomena. You can also consider it real or not real. In paranormal, I mean, obviously I'm not well versed in aliens like I am paranormal. This is more just like a fun opinion stream. But we do talk about and use ley lines in the definition of having possible higher paranormal activity, because we think that there's a lot of energy that comes up from those ley lines, which could also be a quote phenomena. So anyway, what's your opinion on all that? I want to hear it. I feel like you're ready to go.
So, okay. There's a lot of, okay, fun fact about me. I used to actually research a lot about aliens.
I thought you were going to say, fun fact about me, I've been abducted.
No, thank God. Yeah, that's my cup of tea there. Nope. Not
I know.
No. So anyway, so what, okay, specifically.
We'll start back at like do you think this group of people is angry and upset?
I think that there's a mixture of people who have actually had experiences with being abducted and those kinds of things. and people who are just curious, is this actually, are aliens actually real? And of people who do 100% believe, and people who are skeptics that want to be proven wrong that aliens do actually exist.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I also think that um, a lot of the conspiracy, I completely lost my train of thought here.
Well, I mean, go in with like, what do you think of these like the rabbit hole I went down of finding these people that have implants, and like they swear they've been implanted. Some now clearly, I feel like in a case study, and this is like my scientific mind, although you could hook someone up to like a lie detector test, but no matter what you're involved in, there's going to be people lie, right? So you can't say 100% of people that claim they've been abducted are telling the truth, and you can't say 100% of people claiming that they've had, quote, implants are telling the truth. And I mean, trust me, some of the people on the forums I was reading, I was like, oh girl, I think that you just need a really good therapist, okay? Because I think there's some issues going on. But there's some people on there that really, and maybe my empath was kicking in, that seemed really credible. So what do you think people have experienced this?
Being implanted, I don't know. So here's my thing. I think people who claim the abduction stories, there are some really credible stories. Like
Mm-hmm.
if you really do your research and you go out there and you watch videos and you read different experiences, there are some that are super credible. But at the same time, I'm also wondering, were they actually abducted, or was it like, I don't even know if I can say
Were
it.
they tripping on acid and like taking mushrooms?
No, but like, so for example, say their abduction was an illusion of some kind. So, for example, you think that you're seeing like tall gray beings or something in this craft,
Mm-hmm.
but you're actually, I guess that would be not unlikely, them being on some kind of drug, because I mean, I'm
Well, that's
probably
not
not
true
going to.
because isn't it No, not GHB. I think that's the date rape drug. It's not the right one. There's a new drug out there, and we talked about it before, and it's like a shamanistic drug. And Blake has actually heard about it through the veteran community. I am not promoting this. Do not take any drugs, people. Okay. I'm just talking about this for like the purpose of the stream, okay? But there's a drug out there that a lot of veterans are trying to take. It's all natural from shamans. You have to be under the watch of a shaman, and the reason these veterans are taking it is because they're claiming they're able to see people that have passed away, maybe people that have died in their life, whether it was at war or family, and they're able to like make peace and make amends because they're able to like see their spirits. Like supposedly this shamanistic drug takes the filter off. But my point with this conversation is Joe Rogan talked about it on his stream too, saying that some of these people are saying they've seen DMT. Yes, thank you guys, Stefan and Doc. DMT.
Oh,
Not THC. No, Jesus! If anybody takes THC and sees aliens, there's a serious issue going on, which still happened. But no, DMT. So what? Some of these people that are taking the DMT. Can somebody let my puppy out? Somebody that's here, can somebody please let my damn puppy out? He's just freaking out. He doesn't like the alien talk. They're taking the DMT and they're seeing alien beings. So what if someone claims they're being abducted that just took DMT without being supervised by a shaman?
so DMT. Yeah, I've heard of DMT, but I've also, this is what made me think of this particular thing, because you said shaman, but it's called ayahuasca.
Okay.
And it's a plant medicine, but you have to be supervised by a shaman, like you said.
Mm-hmm. Kat, there's another one Kat was just telling me about last week that is, I think, mugwort. Once again,
Yeah.
please don't take this. Jesus God. Like, Lord, I'm not telling you guys to go experiment with this stuff. But Kat was saying mugwort, too. Some people take it, but it can have hallucination effects. But, okay, so if we're playing debunk it, right? We're playing debunk the whole thing. If you're debunking it, What if somebody took a medication just like their doctor prescribed to, whether it's like a daily medicine, or let's say you got sick and you, I don't know, got an infection. We all have different reactions to medications. So if that's the case, what if somebody had a hallucination just from a basic medication that they didn't know they were allergic? You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, look, I'm not discrediting people that have been abducted. I'm just saying, let's play debunk for a second. What are the options of this? But then, you know, when I was down that rabbit hole, Chanel, okay, this is like the real deep core one, which was just like blew my mind, okay? Whew, I don't even know if I can talk about it because it freaks me out so bad. There's people in these forums that sound credible, that they've had multiple abductions. Some of them claim that they've had the implants, okay? But there very few people out of those you'll find that actually like alien contact, want to like be with them on their planet, claim they've been there. And like and once again, to me seems credible, their stories, but like that there is a handful of people out there. Which, don't you remember when we talked about a year ago about that guy who is an artist in New York, and he claims he's been abducted over and over again, and he draws pictures of his art. Do you remember, of like his like alien encounters? And he claims that he's older. I think he's like in his 70s now. He claims that he's slept with aliens and had hybrid children. And he's drawn pictures of everything. And he owns a gallery in New York. And I think it was like a Netflix documentary or somewhere. Hulu, I can't remember. First of all, I did find his story credible, oddly. But what I also found to be really odd was that he was okay with continuing the abductions. And apparently at some point the abductions stopped because he like basically fell in love with this alien being. And what it sounds like, the story was that he got too old for her and she didn't want to be with him, type of thing. But he was basically like heartbroken and like wanted to live on the planet or wherever they were. And once again, I know it sounds crazy, but the story sounded credible. I'm just saying, from my perspective of being an empath, I can usually really like tail into people. And he has these detailed drawings, and he's never sold any of them. He only has them in his gallery. He wants people to come to his gallery because he wants to talk about his experiences. And he's brought attention from other people that have had abductions. Anyway, which blew my mind. I feel like after I watched that documentary, I lost a few brain cells because I was just like... But once again, is that society teaching us not to think that could happen?
What, abduction?
Yeah, or like alien contact, because I feel like it's so drilled into us, like, you know, from society, like, oh, aliens don't exist, nope, Area 1 doesn't exist, Roswell didn't happen. So is it just an auto reflex of our brains going to the thought of this person's crazy?
Yeah, I think it's also because we've all been sort of programmed into, like, you know, not going outside of the box of what we perceive physically in this physical world. Because obviously, like, there's a group of people still that don't believe in ghosts. That's a hard thing for their mind to wrap around. But I think also, as far as people being credible, there are different stories, you know, about people who have lost time. Just, for example, say that they're driving their car or something, and they completely, I don't know whether it's they zone out or they're just completely not conscious of what they're doing, and then they come back and they're like, oh my god, like, I could have wrecked my car, first of all. Second of all, it's 4:30. Last time I checked, it was 1 o'clock.
Or and a day later, or 2 days later. Yeah.
Which, there's so many crazy, like, beyond belief stories that you're like, that can't be real. They were on drugs or something. But then this person's like the cleanest, most, like, has their stuff together person that you've ever met. So I don't know.
Well, there's
It's
two sides to the abduction thing too. Like you have the one side of people that people question, which is the people that are brave enough to come forward, right? And that group of people, society is going to look at them and think, "Oh, you made this up and you're just trying to make a quick dollar off of it." Okay? But if they didn't come forward, we wouldn't hear about it and we wouldn't
Mhm.
even be able to consider the stories that we're talking about. But
Right.
then you have this other group of people, okay, which is one of the rabbit holes that I found, which is a group of people that have clustered together that have claimed to have all these similar experiences, but they are deathly afraid to go public because they don't want to lose their job. They're afraid of society. And I found these forums. They're open forums, but that doesn't mean they've gone on news stations to talk about. It's two very big different things. You know, like you have to find forums and groups of people in order to find like-minded or people having the same experiences that you've had. And to me, those people were really credible because you'll read in their forums like I've changed my screen name because I don't want people to know about it. They have private Facebook groups that
Yeah.
they will not accept you to until like you have to prove like your story and tell your story, and because they don't want skeptics in there, they don't want people talking badly to the people that have like they've suffered severe psychological abuse, essentially, you know, like losing time, like you said, Chanel, and abductions, which it's a fear of mine. I'm not going to lie. I definitely think there's got to be something out there, and I definitely don't want to experience it after Sean disappeared. So that was enough for me. Like Sean was not even like that was indirect, and then that was too much for me. You know what I mean? Especially like the video footage I saw was very like not a lot of people can obtain alien craft footage driving, you know, an aircraft from the United States Air Force like he could. And he was posting these videos publicly and then was in trouble. So anyway, and disappeared. I've done streams on that before. So, wow, I feel like we've gone down a rabbit hole. That was fun.
But wait, I actually, going back to what you said kind of like earlier in the stream about meeting people who you just like instantly know aren't human.
Oh my God.
There's a lot more of those kinds of people around than you think, which is
How
kind of,
many times have you, well, you work in public, you work with public, right? You work with
yeah.
people every single day. We are both extremely old souls, in my opinion. We are very, very intuitive. The three of us, including Kat, have all made predictions that have come true. Within our little just group of each other. And we all three had a moment filming together. And I feel like we were all speaking without using words because this person we knew immediately was not human. The three of us knew it immediately. And there were some physical attributes you could say were very alien-like. But that wasn't really the trigger for me. It was body language, speech itself, clothing, and energy was really bad. Her head was a bit, you know, they say the alien has like the big like green alien thing. No, her head wasn't bigger than her body, but it was definitely that sort of almond shape, wouldn't you say, sort of thing?
Yeah,
Like
it was.
bigger with the temples and then the short little jawline. Very
Mhm.
very large eyes. Um, that scared me.
It was weird. Yeah,
That was, you
that.
know, the three of us together we have a lot of energy together, and we are very careful, obviously, when we're filming. And like, I feel the three of us being empaths always have like extreme heightened awareness, always when we're filming or when we're together. So I never really worry about it if we're out without security. But we've had people literally like run up to us and tell us, "Oh my God, your energy together is amazing," and like you guys are like so strong. And this woman, I guess my point of what I'm saying is that the three of us usually don't get caught off guard without saying anything. Like Chanel is like the quiet one, but that doesn't mean she doesn't speak up or talk. She's just like the quiet one. She's the observer of the three of us. But definitely between Kat and I, if we're caught with someone we don't know, we're really good at like communicating and speaking and getting out of situations. And I feel like that was the very first time the three of us were caught by someone that none of us had words.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was more of an energy thing. I think the three of us were so shocked because, I mean, we'd pulled up really late. I'm not going to say where we were. We were filming on set, and we pulled up late. And this person was kind of like the caretaker, I guess you could say. And we're supposed to meet the next day with this person, and instead she was like excited to see us and probably knew who we were and came barging over and caught us all off guard really bad because first of all we'd just been on a minor road trip driving. You road trip it, you want to eat and pee the first thing you do when you stop, right? Like, I gotta pee. And there's three girls, we're fighting over one toilet, okay? Like, who's gonna get in there first? And it was like, so our mind's already somewhere else, and then to be caught off guard like that, it was, no, we didn't record it. Someone asked if we recorded it. No, because we weren't prepared to record it. We had already obtained the key to the location, so we didn't, they knew we were coming in late the first night, so there was no reason to meet up with anyone. And I feel like I can say for the first time, it scared the shit out of me. Because the three of us were frozen and didn't know what to do. This person barged in where we were, the location. We were kind of unloading gear, like paranormal gear. We went there to see ghosts, okay? We didn't go there to see no aliens. That was not the plan. And Chanel, she did not like Chanel's energy. She stayed way away from you. She made it extremely apparent with intent to not go near Chanel, which I also find interesting because I'm really sensitive to energy, obviously, and paranormal energy. But, Chanel is kind of like the darker one of the three of us. And when I say darker, I just mean she likes to research it. She's just the darker sister. I'm kind of the gray sister. Kat's the, white sister, I guess if we, go in that category. And it was like, Chanel also can read people a lot quicker than Kat and I can. Kat and I'll need a minute to get a grip on somebody's energy, where Chanel will be like, oh no, this is what they're doing and this is why and this is, and so Chanel kind of takes Kat and I off guard sometimes. So it was almost like this person knew Chanel could read her. Is that what you think? That's how I felt, because she was even afraid to come near you.
She literally just would not look at me too. And it was weird because actually Kat was the one that mentioned this. I think it was Kat. I kept backing up, but it was kind of an unconscious thing where I was just backing up farther away from her too. So it was just we repelled each other's energy.
Mm-hmm. Well, and first of all, I needed to pee. I'm not gonna lie. Second of all, I was not sure what was going on. So Kat and I were bouncing off, trying to, I would converse and then Kat would converse. Once again, Kat and I are really good at talking to people. And we could not get a grip on her. And so when Kat would take over the conversation, I would stand back and because this was a minute. Okay, this did not last for 5 minutes. This was a half an hour or longer.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I stood back in between and I would watch Chanel. And let me tell you too, Chanel was locked on this person, which I knew something was wrong because the way Chanel was locked on her, because I've seen Chanel do this before. And, like, I could, like, even if I broke out in, like, a Broadway dance, Chanel was not going to look at me. She was locked. And it was true. She just kept slowly backing up further and further away from her. And I was like, this is not good. Like, I've never seen, this is not good. Her energy was really, I'm not going to say her energy was bad. It was just not right. It was not normal. It was not human. The interaction was not human. Everything about it was not human. I've told this story to some of my producer friends, and of course they want to look at it realistically and be like, well, do you think maybe she had like an undergrowth or underdeveloped, or like she was sick? No. She was just not human. That's the only way I can explain it. And Kat and I, and then I think she knew Kat and I were nice, which we are. And then she didn't want to leave Kat and I, but wanted absolutely nothing to do with Chanel. And I'm like, that's not how this works. You know what I mean? Like, and so Kat and I, and then we're coming in late at night. We need to like unpack, which is a lot of filming gear. It's going to take a time. We need to get like food unpacked, typical like road trip filming gear. And it was like, we couldn't get away from her. And I remember Kat and I literally ran out of things to say. And I think because we were just tired and annoyed, too.
Right.
But we were trying to make it a point to end the conversation. I feel like that's a human thing to do. Of like, you can feel when, like, the conversation's coming to an end and it's time to say goodbye and goodnight. And several points, by the way, Kat and I attempted to end the conversation by saying things like, well, I hope you have a great night, or whatever. And she would turn around and restart the conversation. And with something else. I mean, and it was very strange. Also, she seemed to know a lot of things, which was very weird. Not about me. Now, remember, Kat is the newbie out of the group, right? Kat's really just been she's always been intuitive. She's always had that, her whole life. But as far as, like, really experimenting these things hands-on, she's the newbie. And so when I say she's the newbie, especially at that time, she was still learning to bubble up, right? Like I've talked about bubbling up on the channel before. And where Chanel and I are like, oh, I'm good. My bubble's up. I'm good. You can't read me, boo. You're not going to get in here. Where Kat is a little, and I think that's just Kat's personality, though. She's always a little bit more of an open book. That's probably her Aries fire sign, where Chanel and I, she's a Virgo, I'm Taurus, so we're Earth, we're very grounded, we're very centered. And Kat's fire, she's going to come ablazing, so she doesn't really care if anybody, like, gets in her bubble, right? And this woman seemed to know a lot of strange things about Kat that she would spit out randomly, and it wasn't all at once. Like, she knew, one of the towns that Kat's family grew up in, which is a small town on the East Coast. She was talking about New Hampshire, which is where Kat lives. Really weird stuff that was so specific, and I just remember when she would say things that were specific to Kat, I'd be like, how does she know all this? Like, and I mean, yeah, some of our information's public out there, but I mean, there were some really weird, like, even like college specific stuff, weird things this woman just happened to know about Kat. And I think that when she started that, we started to get really uncomfortable. Yeah. I know Kat started to get anxious because, once again, when we would bounce, and I think Kat did the same thing. I remember bouncing the conversation back and forth from Kat and myself, and I remember looking over at Kat, and she had, like, kind of propped her, like, arm up on the table, and she had, like, turned her entire upper body away from the person to look at me. And I remember her face was just said it all, which was, get this woman the F out of here. Like, I need to get away from this person. And we just couldn't get her out of there. The conversation, someone said, what was the conversation about? The most random weird things that you should never have with the person the first time you meet them. Like, and And it was triggered by her, right? Like, so, of course, when she first walks in, I'm like, oh, it's the overseer of the property. Oh, it's so nice to meet you. You know, of course, I'm, like, doing my, like, polite introduction. I'm Krystal, Kat, Chanel. Blake was unloading stuff. Which, oddly, do you remember she completely bypassed Blake, too?
Yeah. Yeah.
Completely bypassed him. Like, she wanted nothing. So, and Blake, you know, Blake and Chanel both tend to have darker energy, too. And they both attract darker energy. And I think that's because also Blake's been at war. He's done things, you know, he's seen things in war while he was a medic. And so I think he just tends to attract darker things. So it is very interesting that she only came up to Kat and I. She didn't even want anything about Chanel. Sorry, I feel like I'm going back. I feel like I have a flashback. Really weird. What would she talk about, Chanel? Random stuff.
It was so scattered that even if I can't even remember what exactly it was because it was just so choppy of a conversation, you know.
I remember by the end of the conversation, I was really nauseous.
Yeah.
And
I was like,
it was mainly because I don't like when you can't get away from people. Didn't make me feel safe. You're right. The conversation, she couldn't hold a topic for anything. So what were some of the things she was doing that made us think she was not of this world other than her energy, which I feel like spoke volumes?
yeah.
No eye contact.
No eye contact. She wouldn't look at me. I don't even know if she looks at you guys at all. No.
She faced away from us as she spoke.
I do remember that she brought us one roll of toilet paper.
Mm-hmm. But that was like an excuse to come back.
It's weird, yeah.
And we had toilet paper, might I add, okay? We already had toilet paper, so we were like, what is this about? When we talked to her, she did not face us at all.
She also kind of like, if we asked her questions and stuff, because I know that she had, within the amount of time that we talked to her, she basically told us her life story. So if we asked questions, it seemed like she would kind of answer around the question. It wasn't like a direct, oh yeah, this, you know?
Right.
And then, you know how like you can, when someone's telling a story...
That's true. She never really gave a direct answer, did she? Which is probably why we're unable to say exactly what the conversation was about. She was attempting to talk about childhood experiences, which once again, why? I just met this person. But it was like she never had a direct childhood experience. Does that make sense? Which is another reason why we were really triggered thinking she wasn't from here. Because it was almost like she was trying to figure out how a human would answer. She would take pauses and long pauses, like she was really having to think about what she was going to say. And then finally when she would say it, she would just word vomit. And it wouldn't make sense. And then she'd word vomit so hard and so long that the three of us were like, I don't even know what just happened. Like, what just happened? So like, you know, a normal conversation would be me facing Chanel. Which, by the way, I believe the three of us have very proper etiquette when it comes to conversing with people. Clearly, if we're filming at their location, right? Yeah. She literally had her back to us and faced away from us the whole time. The entire time. Once again, screaming to me that she had no idea how humans interacted. Kat and I and Chanel, even though Chanel was backing up, we were all facing her. It was the strangest thing I've ever seen in my life. She struggled to answer questions. It was like she didn't know how to answer them exactly. She also did end up telling us an alien story about that there were blue lights in the hills, and sometimes people thought those were aliens. Yeah. And that was when we were all like, oh, I know you. I see you. Like, she didn't bring up ghosts or anything paranormal. It was like the aliens in the hills. And we're like, I see you, boo. You just gave yourself away. Which was really another random piece of information. And we were all like, aliens. Wait, I just pulled in. It's like 11 o'clock at night. I still need to pee. And there's aliens in the hills. I should have brought more security. Okay. I didn't bring enough security. I have some concerns.
It's weird because it seemed like after she had mentioned that there was blue lights and everything and it could be aliens, after that, it seemed like the entire night there were weird, like, synchronistic references to aliens.
Right. No, my cousin has autism. So someone asked if she had autism. No, I have a cousin with autism. This was not, no. No. And she had a lot of other references while we were there to aliens. And it was, oh my God. Let's talk about Roger.
Who's Roger?
The chicken. The rooster.
Oh no!
But what?
I'm gonna
She had a bunch of animals.
This did it for me. I was like, nope, I'm out.
And she, they're like, oh, we feed the deer, and we feed. It's like she's like portraying herself as Snow White, and we're like, oh my God, it's so wonderful. And then she's like, yeah, but my rooster, he was being mean, and so I just went out there one day and I chopped his head up and I cooked him and made soup out of him. But the weird part was, like, because my family, my dad's side of the family is in Oklahoma and they're on a farm. Okay, so I am used to being around people or hearing people that provide for themselves as far as animals and meat go. But the way she was about it was just, it once again was odd.
Yeah, it was just, I don't know.
And it made the three of us uncomfortable when she talked about, in detail, might I add, killing the chicken, which we're not going to talk about it again, okay? It made us uncomfortable, and she, clearly, we're empaths, and we weren't prepared to hear that. And I feel like when she saw we were uncomfortable, she kept talking about the, quote, soup more. Don't you agree?
Yeah.
Roger soup. She kept saying Roger soup.
I'm such an animal person that when I heard that, my brain just shut down. I was like, no.
I love animals. I can't. Let me have Roger back. Anyway, I don't know.
I will summon.
Then again, that whole town was strange. We did interact with some other people in the town. I don't think that they were aliens. We interacted with her spouse, which we did not think was an alien. I still think she was an alien.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I would never think anyone with autism was an alien, because my cousin's autistic. No, don't you have a cousin that's autistic too? That was not even... Yeah.
Yes, I do. And it was not like that at all.
No. Not at all. Not even social anxiety, because Chanel has social anxiety.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, it was a horror movie. That's an understatement. That was fun. Let's hope that doesn't happen again, because then I feel like the whole time I was there, I slept with one eye open. Pretty much the whole time. We were like, every little creak we heard, we were like, it's an alien ship. And
also, let's mention that behind the house there was some, like, what was it? Oh, like an RV or something someone was staying in.
Oh my God. Fucking Charlie. Oops, I just dropped the F-bomb. I'm sorry, but he was in the back sitting in an RV. It was dangerous, okay? It was very dangerous. I don't know. Sometimes you just have a lot of it's experience of a lifetime, and we're never going to be able to give that up again. So, anyways, having PTSD flashbacks. Okay, we have to change the subject. So anyway, and that includes, I've worked as a stylist, a cosmetologist. I've had people sit in my chair that I think aren't, I'm just like, especially as a stylist, you're like, your hands are on their head. You're like washing their hair and cutting their hair and coloring it. So your hands are literally on them, like, as an empath. And so when I was a stylist, these people would come in, I'd be like, dang, this person is not human. Like, I just know it. But that doesn't mean they look like green and like gray. Like, I feel like
No,
that's the part that society has come up with that's not correct.
it's not realistic. It's more of like I believe a lot more that there are some humans that aren't human than I do believe that just green beings with large heads and almond shaped eyes are just going to be walking around Earth like,
Amen.
you know,
Well, my
nobody.
cousin worked at NASA, and NASA, and he's a chemical engineer. Where did he work? Somewhere else, but also at NASA, and said that he knows. Like they told him that we have alien technology and aliens work with us. He's met aliens, and he said they looked pretty much just like us. So, and I mean that woman walking down the street, you would think she was human
Yeah.
until you
And
talked to her and she turned her back to you.
I will also say that I've met people that I feel like weren't human, but they were still good,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Oh yeah. Well, that's what Sean would tell me when he would take these videos when he was flying his jet or whatever it was. He would be like, "This is how you distinctly can tell the difference between a good alien versus a bad alien." And I was like, "What do you mean? Like, what? There's what?" And he's like, "Well, it's just like humans. There's good humans and bad humans. It's the same as aliens." But that was when I shut it down, and I was like, "You know what? I don't want to know, and I don't want to know them at all." And I think just the fear of it for me is the abduction process. And you know, a lot of the people, the majority of stories that I've read on forums, the abductions that happen aren't violent abductions.
Yeah.
They're like experimental abductions. Like even sometimes they just want to like speak to the people and like want to know about life here and like life on this planet. But you know, so I think that only the really bad things that happen, it's rare. But even the whole implant thing, that freaks me out. Like I don't want to be tracked. And I mean, we have enough Big Brother here as it is with like our cell phones and cameras. Like I don't need alien technology tracking me on top. You know, so I think the thought of just losing time freaks me out.
Yeah.
Also the thought of, you know, some of these abduction stories of people like being on a cold, you know, table, and they're not doing anything to them. They're just, they can tell they've been like knocked out. I feel like the thought of losing control also freaks me out. Does it for you? So I feel like that it's not even like the alien itself. It's like it's the abduction, losing time and like losing control is what I would
And it's
fear.
not knowing what's actually going on with you, you
Right.
know, it's just
Well, it's almost
really,
like anesthesia awareness, like where they put you under for like a surgery and you're awake. That freaks me out.
also I've heard stories where, you know, someone would get abducted and then they'll go back to their bed or whatever and they won't remember it. So they wipe your memories,
Right.
for lack of a better way of putting it.
And
Yeah.
then they'll have like dreams where like slowly pieces will start to come back or whatever. So yeah,
And then
that.
that's when, like,
And once again, I don't know if any of this is true. We're just talking conspiracies because it's fun. But yeah, that part freaks me out too. I don't
yeah.
think they'd want to abduct me. They'd be like, she is too loud. Get her out of here. Take her back to her planet. Do not track her whatsoever. She gets on our damn nerves. And I'd be like, sorry guys, had a lot of questions. See, I run this YouTube channel. I need to go portray some information. Have you ever known anybody that's claimed to have been abducted?
Um, mm,
Is that a
I don't,
yes? I feel like
I
that's a
mean,
yes.
yes and no, because I don't, like,
Chanel, you're either
when,
abducted or you're not. There's no kind of there's no kind
no,
of being abducted. Oh, they were beaming me up and I fell down like 6 flights, but I was fine after that.
no, I haven't been abducted, but I've people that I'm friends with, like in film, have told me some weird experiences they've had with possibly being abducted, but I don't know.
You sound so
It's a weird.
skeptical with possibly being abducted.
I mean, no, I'm not trying to like discredit them or whatever, but it's just like one of those things. Like whenever someone's telling you a story, and you're like sitting there listening to it and you're like, I just feel like you're lying though. But
Oh yeah. Well,
not.
that's your empath. So.
Yeah.
Well, that was like, Sean, he didn't say he was abducted. He was just getting really, really crazy, amazing footage, while he was flying airplanes in Air Force. And um, I couldn't believe it. It freaked me out. It was crazy. It was really weird. Aliens aren't real. Well, then why are you here, boo? Don't be here. This is a paranormal channel. Why are you here, boo?
Can
You're
you
on the wrong
confirm
channel.
that?
Can you confirm or deny that, please? Well, what's else? Okay, other story we just saw was this 3-year-old kid in Australia is claiming that he is the reincarnation of Princess Diana. His father is credible because his father is like a news anchor in Australia. And his father came forward saying, my son is 3, he doesn't have a lot of sentences, but he's come out with, and obviously he can't get online, and he's come out with all these, can't read is what I mean, come out with all of these credible facts of Princess Diana and Princess Diana's life that he recalls. I mean, weird stuff. I was reading about it. What do you think about reincarnation?
I think, I don't know, I kind of have mixed feelings about it, to be honest, because I think people who claim to be some reincarnation of a famous person, or I don't know, they were a dolphin and now they're not. That's like, I mean, I don't know. I honestly don't know, because I think if you have this information, if this little boy has this information about somebody as big as Princess Diana was, and he's telling this information correctly to a T, and he's not even able to really form sentences yet, that's big.
Mm.
That's like,
Well,
yeah.
I've shared mine when I was little. I was 3 and was not talking, and I was telling my mom about how I drowned. And
Yeah.
I mean, I was like in detail of like leaving my kids and husband behind. And my mom, like, at first panicked because she was like, why does my kid even remotely think that she knows what drowning is about,
Yeah.
Which is horrible. Who wants to think about their kid drowning and talk about it in detail? So my mom, the first few times I talked about it, kind of blew it off. But she tried to put me in swim lessons and I refused. I was so scared of water. I still have a fear of water to this day. I can swim. I have never been on a boat or a yacht my whole life. That will change when we go to Italy. But like, because I've been afraid of water, it's crazy. So I do believe in it because my mom was like, I could recall crazy details. And she blew it off the first few times, thinking I may have been making up stories. And then she like asked our family, making sure I wasn't like watching TV and like getting weird ideas in my head. But she's like, Krystal is like dead serious. I believe her. I believe my kid. And I was like, I was telling her verbatim what happened. I remembered it. I would have like panic attacks. I remember being like 5 years old in a car seat, having a panic attack when we would drive over water. So like in Colorado, there's lots of rivers and stuff, and like, or even driving near a lake. I remember just having a meltdown, like freaking out. And I remember as I got older, like 8, 9, memorizing where we would drive next to lakes or drive by rivers. And I remember just like closing my eyes when we would drive over it or by it so I didn't have a panic attack. So I mean, now you're talking about a celebrity status here, which is Princess Diana. But once again, going back to his dad, who's a credible person, a news anchor, they even have like video of him talking about it and stuff. So anyway, I don't know, but I do believe that reincarnation could exist. I really do, and that's just because of what I did when I was born a creepy kid. That's just where it starts. You know what I mean?
Do you think that it could be a reincarnation scenario like the little boy, or something like a past life situation?
Well, isn't that the same thing, basically? I mean, you're reincarnating from a past life, basically. Because, I mean, Princess Diana, if you look at that situation, she's been gone for like 20 years, right? So they claim, and I don't know if this is true either, like the other side, time doesn't exist. So, like, that's just a planet Earth thing or a planet thing. So here it's 24 hours, in another galaxy it might be something else for one day. So time over there doesn't exist, but you do take the time, however long it is, to prepare your next life. So I do feel like a 20-year window would, if that's the case, would make sense because she was, quote, planning her next life. I don't know, obviously, personally, if it's legit or not. I just thought it was a really cool story. Like, the kid is even talking about stuff like details of the castle and, like, what the castles looked like and, like, favorite rooms that Princess Diana had. And some of that stuff they tried to look up, and it's not even, like, publicly in the media. He can even recall, like, specific cities and states, or I'm sorry, cities and countries. And I guess he said something like, one day I was a princess, and then the next day it went all black, meaning she, like, died. Yeah. So, because probably he doesn't know how to say, like, death or this happened or whatever. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know if it's true or not. I just thought it was a really cool story that came up. I
mean, that's cool. I mean, that's like, wow.
It is, yeah. I do find it interesting, just personally, that he's 3 and I was 3 when I first started talking about it. So there must be something with that age where memories start to come back, and then you're able to converse memories into, like, actual vocabulary, right? Even if you don't have a full vocabulary yet, which I didn't. So it's just, I don't know, it's interesting. It's really interesting. Anything else? Let's see if there's any, have I missed any questions or anything? Let me look on Restream really quick. Someone said, some of us think you have protection of certain energy that will make us immune from abduction. I hope to God that's the truth. Maybe I need to do a spell to, like, make sure I give some extra oomph to myself. Sage won't work with aliens, guys. That's all I'm versed in is Sage. So, let's see. Another person said they think they saw a reptilian man once. I confronted him saying there's something wrong with your eye. That's an interesting topic. Blake is a huge believer in reptilians. Huge believer. He thinks he's encountered some, and also he grew up in California. He's a, like, Malibu baby. He grew up right near Malibu. And Catalina Islands, right? They say there's, like, reptilians that live under there, which is a huge California thing, and a lot of Californians believe it, for sure. And Blake is one of them. He's always had those, like, weird paranormal experiences. Of course, he grew up in Simi Valley, which is also related to the whole Charles Manson thing. So he was always surrounded by creepy, weird, paranormal stuff. I don't know. Weird. No other questions. Cool. Well, next week we'll be back on Saturday. I'm not sure what the topic will be next week. I've had a little bit of a hard time getting back into the swing of things. My schedule has been really messed up and my mom's doing great. I know a lot of people asked about that. Mom is doing really good. She's healing, and every day it gets better. Every day she gets a little bit less sore, basically, this area. And so I'm really glad about that. She's able to move a lot better and walk. So thank God she survived that surgery. Other than that, I just need to get back on a better routine. Like, I texted Chanel last night at, this morning. At, was it 5 a.m. or something? I knew you were up because it was 8 your time. And I was like, I accidentally may have pulled an all-nighter. I was editing, and I was up till 5 a.m. And she was like, what's wrong with you? Go to bed. I'm like, I know. So it's like I have these days, like, taking a month and a half off with my mom while she was, having surgery and going through all that stuff. I'll have days where I stay up till 2 in the morning and work. and then I'll have days where I go to bed at like 11 o'clock, and then I have days. So I'm just like, Krystal, get a grip on your life, like Jesus Lord. So I'm hoping like over the next week or so, I have pre-filmed 5 makeup tutorials that I'm going to put on my makeup channel, because I know everybody's always asking about my makeup. Chanel and I are going to do a little chat after this to add her to my Jeffree Star Blue Blood makeup tutorial, because she had a fun experience that it turned her into a Smurf. So you'll have to stay tuned for that story. That'll be on the other channel. And yeah, everything's going really good. Monday, I am going to attempt my first multi-week stream, or multi-stream in a week. So Monday, Wednesdays, and Saturdays is what I'm going to attempt to start streaming, okay? So Mondays and Wednesdays, I'll be by myself, and I'm going to be on Twitch only. And the reason I can only be on Twitch is because YouTube has too many copyright issues. So what I'm going to do is play one of the new episodes from like either Tom DeLonge's UFO series from the History Channel, or the new Chuck Zukowski one. I've been wanting to watch it. I think it's called UFO Highway. And I'm going to play it on the channel, and then I'm going to pause it and do commentary in between, because I'm not doing my old school chats where I would like pre-film it. But I also think it's kind of better this way, because you guys can watch it with me as I kind of like debunk and talk about it. I cannot do that on YouTube. YouTube will not let me. So Twitch is better. So Mondays and Wednesdays will be Twitch only. And then on Saturdays will be the big paranormal stream with the girls, as always. And then I'm going to have tutorial uploads on my other channel 3 times a week. And those will be posted, I believe I'm doing Tuesdays, Thursdays, and those will also be uploaded on Saturday mornings. So I'm a busy bee trying to get back in the swing of it, and thanks for everybody's patience while I was gone. And I'm not editing my own videos. Blake is editing. Blake's helping me edit. And as far as the pilot goes, I am editing that, but we're winding down on the pilot. Thank God, we're almost there. And once that's done, I'm going to be going on vacation for like 2 weeks with Chanel and Kat. And I will not have any social media around me. I might throw my iPhone in the ocean. No, I'm not going to do that because it's expensive. But if you don't hear from me for a couple of weeks, it's because I need a break. Girl needs a break. So, Shanae, you're the most awesome, dark, witchy person I know. Speaking of that, last note, did everybody see the picture Chanel posted of us on her Instagram? Oh my God. If you don't follow Chanel on Instagram, you need to, because I'm dead. And Kat, by the way. You need to follow Kat too. But she posted a throwback, Chanel did, of both of us, which was like, God, when was it? May? Or April?
Oh yeah. It was a while ago. It was I think it was the last time we were there, right?
Was it?
So then it would be March? No.
Well, anyway. It's a classic gym. Okay, I'm just going to show it from far away because you need to go look at it, okay? It's a gym, and it's Chanel and I laughing so hard. Probably it's something really dark because we have dark humor, and we think it's hilarious. And it's just, I didn't even know you had this picture. Like, where'd you pull this out of?
No, I was scrolling through my like, you know, on Snapchat, it can save your pictures.
Oh, yeah.
Scrolling through, and I had it on there, and I was like, oh,
Chanel_Sherry13 is her handle. It's hilarious. Yeah, we had fun. That's at one of the bars here in Vegas. It's a Harry Potter kind of themed, like, underground bar. It's really cool. And it's just like, I don't know, we love to go there and just hang out because they have like bonfires. It's very like earthy. It's very whimsical, very like witchy. So that's like our place. So anyway, make sure you guys tune in. Please make sure you subscribe. We appreciate you guys subscribing. Patreon subscribers, most of you have reached out to me, but there's a few of you that still haven't. I am sending a free piece of jewelry to my Patreon subs this month for being so patient with my mom being sick. And a few of you have not gotten back to me on addresses. So make sure you get on there and you email me addresses so that I can send that to you guys. It's from my new collection. Just finally finished the website last night, ghostgirlcosmetics.com. And it's going to have gemstones and all kinds of fun stuff on there. Life is good. I'm so appreciative. Like, just remember how far you've come. That's been our lesson this week, which is, I feel like we should do a lesson of the day during Saturdays, or a lesson of the week. And our week this week is sometimes life, you can get caught up in the motion of like your daily life, and you're like trying to finish projects like me with the pilot, and you're just trying to keep going. But Kat gave Chanel and I a really big wake-up call and friendly reminder that sometimes we forget where we came from and where we started, and how many obstacles we've had to overcome in that time, even if it's been a month or even if it's been a year. And we need to try to stay grounded, because things around us are not perfect. And I hate to break it to you, but they never will be. But you have to be grateful for what you have, because some people don't have what you have. And in my case, it would have been, losing my mom. And life is good. So we all are very appreciative of life, and we want this project with the pilot done, but it's kind of a turtle, and slow and steady wins the race. Thank God the network is just kind of on call waiting for us. They love us, and I think it's going to be okay, and I'm not worried about it. And just be very appreciative for what you have. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Shanae, I heart your face. You're amazing. And stay on, chat with me for a minute, because I've got to talk to you about Jeffree Star and spill the tea on that. So thank you guys for everything. We will catch you next week. Mondays, I will be on here on Monday, Wednesday, and next Saturday with the girls. Thank you guys for everything. Don't go to Area 51. Jesus Lord. Do you want to die? Ask yourself, do you want to die? Please don't. All right. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.